clothing, access to, to a lot of different things, vehicles or whatever the case may be. But one thing that people cannot go without is food. And that's why they're you see that woman that was losing it because she said she has 9 children to feed, and she needs her stamps. She needs somebody to approve her stamps so that she can get the food that she needs to feed all them children. And they understand that food can be used as a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they're setting up this geo fencing, which is pretty much a digital prison. That if you don't comply with the mandates, because when you're in prison, what you have to do, you have to comply to the warden. You about to say something?
Yeah, that's what happened during the time of Judith when they flushed Israel into the caves. They cut off the water supply. It was Moab and Esau.
Okay.
And it forced them to comply, with, because I got to go back into the story, but
Right.
it put them in a vice.
Right.
Because it was the water. They cut off the water and they cut off the food, and because they had Israel shook.
There you go.
And
food as a weapon.
Yeah, they use food as a weapon.
Nutricide, death by nutrition.
Dang.
There's a book that this Jake wrote, and basically goes into how the powers that be, the elite, they they basically take people out through the food. The side meaning to, that's the suffix meaning to kill,
right,
to slay. Like you have pesticides,
right,
herbicides, you also have nutricides, which is death through nutrition.
Right. Where you at?
Oh, this is Judith. I got the account.
Okay, let me grab where you at, Judith.
7 and 6.
Okay, Judith chapter 7. Okay, got it.
But it says, but in the second day, Holofernes brought forth all his horsemen in the sight of the children of Israel, which were in Bethulia, and viewed the passage up to the city, and came to the fountains of the waters, and took them, and set garrisons of men of war over them. And he himself removed toward his people. Then came unto him all the chief of the children of Esau, and of all the governors of the people of Moab. And that's who's fronting that digital tech.
Yeah.
That digital stronghold.
Yeah.
It's Esau and Moab.
Yeah. That's heavy.
Right? Mm-hmm. It says, and the captains of the sea coast.
I believe also, Salaki, I believe in Psalms 83, the first two nations is
it's Esau and
Ishmael,
yeah.
and then it's Moab the third. Moab's the third.
So. Yep.
Moab's the third in Psalms 83. They came against us.
Mm-hmm. And the captains of the sea coast and said, let our Lord now hear a word, that there be not an overthrow in thine army. For this people of the children of Israel do not trust in their spears, but in the height of the mountains wherein they dwell, because it is not easy to come up to the tops of their mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Now, therefore, my Lord, fight not against them in battle array, and there shall not so much as one of thy people perish.
And that's heavy because, pretty much it was like you could say like a siege.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
So instead of going in and wasting your men, because there was some history about, I believe that was World War II. It was this Jake, and then they had a regiment of Jake, and there was these mountainous areas where you had the German soldiers that were positioned in the nest, and they were fucking the U.S. soldiers up. They couldn't get up. Every time they go, they will cut them down.
Right.
Because of where they were at.
Right.
So like when you're up on a mountainous range, it's a very good strategic because you can see everything that's coming.
Yeah.
And it's hard to attack.
Go
ahead.
It says, now therefore, my Lord, fight not against them in battle array, and there shall not so much as one man of thy people perish. Remain in thy camp and keep all the men of thine army, and let thy servants get into their hands the fountains of water with issue forth of the foot of the mountain.
Right, and hence food as a weapon.
Exactly.
Food and water necessities that you can't go with for long periods of time.
Right. These are old tactics.
That's it.
And look who did it. Esau Edom. So you think he's not tapped into, to those same, strategic warfares, if you will?
They know how to maximize the impact of what they want to bring forth.
Right.
And they understand that, people, when they're in a desperate state, they're willing to submit and give up anything and everything just to be able to survive.
Same thing with in Egypt. Remember the Pharaoh? He said, "Take away straw for them to make brick."
Yep.
So he made that circumstance for them even more strenuous to put more hell on them. You know, but see, that's what makes Israel special, because you do that to any other nation and then they get suppressed.
Right.
With the children of Israel, we grow stronger.
Mhm.
You know, so by Esau making his move and stirring up, you know, his enterprise,
Mhm.
it's going to have the children of Israel flourish
Yeah,
through
and-
the men of the Lord. of
Yeah,
course.
and that's the
Spirit of
perfect.
Yahweh Shai.
That's it. That's the perfect. That's the perfect opportunity for the Most High to show His power. You know, when when Israel is backed into a corner.
Yep.
You know, so that's when the Lord, because if you have circumstances like that, you will have to submit. But in this case, the Lord, He actually is going to intervene, just like He did in all our past times. The Lord intervened, and He's going to do the same thing now, man. You know, so Esau is going to back Jake into a corner, and a lot of Jake's going to submit to that system. You know, the ancient Babylonians did it, the Egyptians, all the kingdom, the Greeks did it, the Romans did it. All these kingdoms, they try to back Jake into a corner, and the Lord fought for him. You know, for the remnant.
So it ain't now. He ain't gonna do it.
Right.
We're at the very end. His name is about to be magnified.
Yeah.
He's not gonna step in to honor His name.
Exactly. Yep. Verse 13. For all the inhabitants of Bethulia have their water thence, so shall thirst kill them,
Mhm.
and they shall give up their city, and we and our people shall go up to the tops of the mountains that are near, and will camp up. You see, he basically said, we're not going to come up against them with fighting them head on. We take off their water supply,
Right.
and so that will kill them.
Wear him down.
Exactly. It says, so shall go up to the tops of the mountains that are near, they will camp upon them to watch that none go out of the city. And that reminds me of our Psalms, I think that's the 10th chapter. He said, you go about seeking as a roaring lion,
Mhm.
lurking, seeking whom he may devour. That's how Esau Edom rolls. That's what the lion does. It waits for his prey to be in a vulnerable state.
And that's a lesson. That's how the devil rolls.
That's how the devil rolls. Yeah, yeah, Khan, straight up. Yeah, it says, so that they and their wives and their children shall be consumed with fire, and before the sword come against them, they shall be overthrown in the streets where they dwell.
Yeah,
that's Esau's plan now, as we're going into to cut off the supply, cut off the resources. So Jake start fighting one another, killing each other already in the streets, and then Esau just come and just clean up the scraps.
That's it.
They got that machine where, you know, they just have a robot that just comes and collect
eater.
dead bodies.
Yep.
And you know, it's heavy. I was trying to get this lesson going, and it's like, you know, stuff was happening, and as soon as y'all walked through the door, I had just finished setting everything up.
Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shai.
Because the Lord wanted y'all brothers to join in.
Khan.
Was that it on that, bro?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now you had some. All right, so now I went to the chat, right? And I typed in, at first, it took me 3 times to get the answer. As it kept saying, couldn't get the, you know, it like kept denying me. So I said, you know what, let me just reset everything and try the 3rd time. I said, will geofencing be used as a method of control for the population of the world? I said, that's a thoughtful and important question, one that touches on technology, politics, and ethics. It says geofencing itself is simply a digital tool. It creates virtual boundaries using GPS, RFID, Wi-Fi, or cellular data to trigger an action when a device enters or leaves a defended area. It says it's used for many legitimate purposes, right? So now, scripture say that their eyes shall be bound down to the city or something along those lines. You know, that they may look, you know, down. I don't know if that's Psalms 10.
That's Psalms 10. Yeah.
You know,
I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, because they're going to be looking. No, this is why they wanted to see. This is why the whole shutdown took place in 2020. And while people were home nervous about bleeding through their eyes and nose and ears and, you know, lungs falling out and different parts of their bodies falling out and they were out there setting up this digital infrastructure around the world, putting the finishing touches on what they needed to get this digital system up and running.
Yep, these digital boundaries.
And within the last 5 years, look how far they've gotten in this, these plans that they've had for the longest.
Warp speed. They told you openly that they were going to speed things up, and then they came out simultaneously, the W to the E to the F, and basically told you what they wanted to do, how we're entering into a new normal, and how this is going to be the fourth industrial revolution, and how the fourth industrial revolution is going to tie you, the person, into the system now.
Right.
You are now going to be part of, the digital control grid. You're going to be uploaded to the system, if you will, through your biometrics, namely them putting that device inside you. That's where it's all heading to. And this is the cool thing. That's what it's headed. That's where it's headed to. Like since 2020, which they've been moving forward with this plan, they have not slowed down. They have not slowed down in the pursuit, to create the system. It's only gotten progressively, worse. The system has given. There's been more of a contraction on the people. There's more of a vice grip on the people.
And that's what they do. They squeeze just like a serpent. The serpent waits for you to get tired.
Mm-hmm.
Then it starts to grow. It doesn't take you out right away. Then it starts to wrap around, and it starts squeezing the life out of you little by little. And that's what And then when the serpent squeezes the light, it starts seeing the life oozing out of your body. Like in the movie Bamboozle, as the life oozed out of my body.
Right. Yep.
This is a good one, but I think there was another one. But you got the point. You got it. And
it doesn't say city, but
there was something.
I was looking for that.
Eyes are like, because I know like the 8th verse, it says his eyes are privily set against the poor, which that's exactly what they're doing. But there's one.
You want me to read this one?
Says, you could get.
Okay. Psalm 17 and I started 9.
17.
Okay. Psalm 17 and 9.
Let me get down. Let me see if that's the one. Psalm 17. Go ahead.
Yep. It says Psalm 17 and 9. From the wicked. No, sorry. It says I'm starting verse 8. Keep me as the apple of thy eye.
That's the one.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yep. Hide me under the shadow of thy wings.
Right. And what is the shadow of the Lord's wings? That's the chariots. But before you can get to the chariot, it's what? The word.
The word. Yeah.
Is it Psalms 91
yep.
1?
Thy words, that truth is thy shield and thy buckler. Hide me from the
right. So
the shadow of the wings of the Almighty.
Yeah. So it speaks about them that abide under the shadow of the Almighty.
Right.
What's the shadow? That's why it says, finally, brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Because that is our shade. We have no other. We're worms. We have no defense.
Yeah.
No physical defenses.
Yeah.
Our defenses are spiritual, which comes from Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. That's why my man said to Holofernes, he said they don't trust in their spears and all that.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're
looking. They're looking to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Right. For their support, for their deliverance.
For a savior.
There you go.
That was always the record of Israel. Israel was always looking for a savior.
Mm-hmm.
Like in this time now. All right. And in the time of the Roman Empire prior. Israel was always looking for a savior to get the people right, for them to be delivered away from their enemy, for those that had them in captivity. And that's what's going on now.
Yeah. And it only makes sense why the devil, his pursuit was to strip Jake away from their heritage, away from that name, away from their savior.
Right.
So now they will actually be able to come upon us and be successful in their endeavors.
So that the name of Israel may be no more remembered.
That's it.
That's right.
Because they know that name has power. They have a record of, the Lord, intervening when nations try to take us down.
Yeah.
So as they're part of their battle strategy, they want to strip that remembrance, but it's too late. The Lord, his spirit is back. His spirit is back in the earth. But you are going to get a lot of Jakes. But when you come against the elect, that's when the Lord is going to intervene.
Yeah, that's where you're going to tap out, dog.
Yeah. It says, keep me as the apple of thy eye. Hide me under the shadow of thy wings from the wicked that oppress me, from my deadly enemies who compass me about. Let me get that word compass.
Yeah, that means like you're all in the midst. All in the videos,
Yeah,
In the studio.
yeah, all up in the camera dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yup. It says that word compass in the Hebrew is naquap.
Mm.
Naquap, to strike off, to strike off skin, to go around.
Right. Like you know how like when you besiege a city,
Yeah,
you're compassing the city all
Yep.
around, you have your armies all around.
right.
Remember what the dude said? He said so that they don't, so that none of them can escape.
Exactly.
We'll be able to see them, and they try to escape, we're gonna get there.
Exactly. And that's what Esau's doing. And he's doing it digitally with the World Wide Web.
Bam.
All right.
Because it's a digital prison.
Yes.
That's why I said no one may buy or sell save he that had the mark. The number is,
Yep. Yep.
you ain't gonna be able to function in this new system without it.
Right. It says compass or round, to round, encompass, enclose.
Right.
To make round, complete the circuit. To make round off.
Right. So now what Esau is doing is, you run your wires. For the electricians run their wires. They got they tie everything into the sockets and everything, the big motherboard.
Yeah.
And then what happens? They have to close the circuit so that everything can work in the house. Then that's why you do the troubleshooting, or you double check, make sure everything is running properly.
Yeah.
So that's what Esau is doing right now. He's closing that circuit.
Yeah, that's how that's how electric runs in the house. That's how plumbing runs in the house. It's all from one main system.
Yep.
And then whatever you need throughout that house, you have the supply for.
That's it.
You got your faucets. You got a water main. You got faucets. You got your toilet where you flush the water.
Yep.
Esau has that main motherboard somewhere, if you will, that he's running these lines out. And if you're not taking from his faucet, then you through.
Yeah, that's why he said he will be like the Most High.
There you go.
Because he wants everybody to come to him
right
for everything.
Exactly.
But the scriptures say that the elect, the remnant, are not going to stay upon him that smote them, but they're going to stay upon the Holy One of Israel in truth.
Yeah. Come. Yup. Verse 10. It says they are enclosed in their own fat. With their mouth. They speak proudly.
Yeah, because they have more than heart could wish.
Right.
Go ahead.
They have now compassed us in our steps.
This is the main one.
They have set their eyes bowing down to the earth.
And that's your satellites, these different, drones, the cameras that are everywhere, that are keeping an eye on everybody. And now with this new system coming into place, they're going to be able to even gain more control over people's lives. Just like in the movie 1984, everything was controlled. But they're going even further into digitally controlling everybody.
Yeah, you had Noah Harari. That devil. He basically said this is a surveillance under the skin.
Right.
He said tyrants of old wish they had this technology. Because now, the whole thing was you had tyrants. They want to know what you think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They want to know if you're about, there's an uprising, you're going to try to start an uprising, sedition. If you agree with what they're saying, if you're going to comply. So there was always a level of you don't know what this individual is thinking.
Right.
Now Esau is going so much to put that technology inside you to where now he knows what you're thinking. And if he doesn't like your thoughts, he can act upon it instantly. And he can actually change your thoughts. So now it's surveillance under the skin. They know your heart rate. They know your blood type. They know any diseases that you have. They know your thought patterns. Yep. They know everything now.
They know when you're excited.
Yep.
When you're sad, if they ask you a question, they know by the increase, tension inside of your body that you may not show outwardly, they tap into all of that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Klaus Schwab, he said that damn devil. He basically said, could you imagine 10 years from now where everybody has microchips inside their brain and that we can speak to each other telepathically.
Yeah. And
we can know what somebody is thinking.
Yeah. And that devil Noah Yuval Harari, he said humans are hackable creatures.
Right.
Was there more to that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Verse 12, like as a lion that is greedy of his prey, and as it were a young lion lurking in secret places.
Right, because you don't see them behind the scenes and what they're doing. And they're not, you better believe the Rothschilds, they're not sitting behind a computer watching everybody. No. They got their flunkies doing that. And reporting back to them. Now, if they want to, they could tap in and look, but they don't have to do that. They got their flunkies doing it. You imagine that shit, the Rothschild.
Even now, Apostle, they don't even got nobody doing it. It's all digital.
Exactly.
The AI now.
It's just straight up. They got it to where they're really playing the Most High.
Right.
You know, like
Yeah.
how you said, because that's them sitting at the top, and them playing the Lord, and then they have their angels,
Yep.
doing their bidding.
That's why when Yahweh Shai comes back, they said that Michael and his
His
angels
angels.
fought against the devil and his angels.
Yeah, yeah.
The devil's angels are the planes, helicopters, drones, satellites.
Yep. Iron Man suits.
Yep. All of that.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. That whole what's that? Lockheed Martin, and
Yep.
there's funding for this. That's big business.
Yeah.
All for the final showdown
Yes, sir.
to show forth the power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai.
Yes, sir.
Yep. That's pretty much it.
All right. So I'm gonna go back here unless you got something.
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to here. Right. So it said geofencing itself is simply a digital tool. It creates virtual boundaries using GPS, RFID, Wi-Fi, or cellular data to trigger an action when a device enters or leaves a defined area. It is used for many legitimate purposes. For instance, safety and logistics, track and delivery vehicle, or ensuring workers stay in designated areas. So
Mhm.
these were like all of the precursors to it, right?
Mhm.
Marketing, sending location-based offers. See, location tracking,
Yep.
security, restricting drones or sensitive facility access. So you can't go into a particular area unless you have access to it, right? It says public health. During the C-19 PD, some countries use geofencing for quarantine enforcement.
That's
There
it.
we go.
So everything is about enforcement, control to control. However, your question gets a deeper concern about control and surveillance. In principle, yes, any technology that can monitor or restrict movement could be used as a form of population control if adopted by governments or corporations in unethical ways. And that's exactly what they're doing.
Yep.
And this is why you have all of these different senators in America and around the world, different individuals that hammering out policies for their governments that are hammering out the policies and laws, legislation for the corporation, the big corporations, to benefit them. So if the big corporations are the ones setting up this system, and they're the ones that's having these individuals passing the laws to benefit them, what the fuck you think they're going to use it for?
Right.
They're going to use it for total control.
That's
Right.
it.
Says, for example,
Well, that's what they've been using it for. Has your life gotten more free here in the Babylon? You know what I mean? Like, just ask yourself, has your nest egg gotten bigger?
Right.
Have you gotten calmer? Have you got more relaxed? Have your health got better?
Right.
Or has there been a constant taxing,
Yeah.
a constant nitpicking, a ticket here, irritation,
Decay.
a chaos? So that's what it's been used for. And that's the reality. And they're going full-fledged and he's not stopping.
Right.
That's it. So it says, for example, a state could restrict citizens from entering or leaving certain zones. Now, in the movie Equilibrium, they had different zones.
Mm-hmm.
In the movie In Time, they had different zones.
Hunger Games.
They had different zones and districts.
Yeah.
That if you were not of a particular ilk,
Yep.
you couldn't go there.
What's it called? Elysium.
Elysium,
Yeah.
yeah.
You didn't have access.
You were restricted.
You were restricted.
Yeah.
You didn't have access to healthcare. You didn't have access to clean food. Demolition Man.
Demolition
Yes, sir.
Man.
You know what I
I
mean?
was about to say that.
Yeah. So they it's literally in your face. They've been, through their left hand magic, they've been basically telling you the future that they want.
Predictive program.
Predictive programming. Preemptive program, as they say in the UK. David Icke says preemptive programming. It's the same thing. Predictive programming.
Because they're doing it. They're showing you what they're doing before they actually do it.
Yeah.
And that's a part of the method of the revelation of the method.
Yeah.
That's a part of it, because they have to show you what they're going to do before they do it, because they want to be like the Most High.
That's it.
Before the Lord do something,
That's it.
He tells you about it,
Yeah.
right? That's Isaiah 42:9.
Before they spring forth.
Mhm.
I tell you of them.
Mhm. And he gives you signs.
That's it.
He gives you signs. Even the Lord, he works through those movies too.
Yeah.
So Esau thinks that he's putting these movies together and his vision.
Yeah.
The Lord has given him that inspiration.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The Most High is the author of wisdom.
Yeah.
You can't get any form of wisdom unless the Most High sanctions it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It says authorities could track people's movements continuously. They're doing that already. There's certain states. I don't know if it's in all the states where these the police vehicles. No, if your registration is expired, they it it kind of pings them.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's everywhere. My brother was telling me he was driving in Harlem pretty much, and he got a traffic. He got a double parking ticket from the bus.
God damn.
The bus gave him a fucking ticket because like got the bus lane or whatever the case is.
Right.
The bus flashed the light on him and gave him the ticket. So they got their
They
cameras.
do have that. They have that technology. Yep, I
Yeah,
remember
they
that.
got
did a
this shit.
video
This
on
shit
that.
is everywhere.
Well, yeah, you got the AI cameras now. They got the AI cameras that they're putting up in these different cities
Yep.
to where
Right.
they don't even need the police officers no more.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like all these major cities are using AI. They're using drones to monitor the city. So now you commit a crime, boom, they already know where you at.
Right.
Yeah.
They can track you where you at. They can
Yep.
send that ticket. They can send that you got to appear in court
Yep.
without any officer saying anything.
Yeah.
You
Well, look at the Easy Pass. Easy Pass everywhere you go.
Yep.
You don't even have to stop and pay a toll anymore. They just send it to you in the mail.
Yeah.
and now that's why all these nations are pushing for the digital ID, because that gives them another layer of control. That gives them another layer of surveillance.
Yeah.
That allows them to track you and trace you through the digital system that everybody is so accustomed and everybody's tapped into. In order to get any of these services, you have to have a cell phone. You have to give them your number. You see what I'm saying? You have to have an email. So already right there, they already have a tracker, a digital tracker, a receipt on you. Everything when you get on the internet, everything's pinging.
Yeah.
They can pinpoint your location. Your phone, they can literally pinpoint. The shit is so high level, they can literally pinpoint you to the very inch where you're at.
Right.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
So
and the technology is just getting better and better, and they tighten it more and more.
That's it.
Right. So it says access to services like transportation or digital systems could be tied to location compliance. So like in China right now, they're showing you a lot of homeless people that are locked out of the system because their social credit scores don't meet the standard for them to operate in that system.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what the model for the world. You dig?
Mm-hmm.
It's the model for the world.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a global system.
There you go. It says that said, such uses would face major legal and ethical barriers in most democratic societies.
Esau's not he's not moral. You know what I mean? He's unethical.
Man.
Yeah.
He's unethical.
Yeah.
So this is that's not going to stop him. What stop? People are going to go and protest like the No Kings protest.
What is that going to
They
do?
yelled and screamed No Kings, and then they took their ass back home and got on Netflix.
Went to work the next.
You know what I mean? Went to the restaurant right after.
Yeah.
Drink a beer. You know what I mean? Went to work. What happened? There's nothing changed. So you can so-called go and protest, but has that stopped anything?
Nope.
It hasn't stopped. It had to stop this man from moving forward. The scriptures speak about how it had two horns like a lamb, but he spake as a dragon.
Yeah.
It had the resemblance of a lamb, but it really, in speech, indeed, it was a dragon.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening. And the people have no say so in the matter. Your
Right.
vote doesn't count.
They actually, like I watched it. You're paying for your own tyranny. Your own tax dollars.
Yeah.
All your money is going toward your downfall. And people don't even know it.
Right.
They don't even know it.
You go. It says, especially regarding privacy rights, human rights law, and constitutional protections. There are also strong pushbacks from civil society, watchdog organizations, and international human rights groups against such large-scale surveillance or coercion.
They own those international human rights groups, those watchdog organizations, and they'll set people up to say certain things that sound good.
Right.
Like Candace Owens.
Like Candace Owens, all the
But this guy Tucker
Carlson.
Yep.
You got Nick Fuentes.
Yeah.
You had Captain Kurt.
Yeah.
You even have RFK. RFK Jr.
Yep.
He talks a real good game, but he's part of this fucking system.
Well,
Yeah.
shit, Trump was talking a good game.
Yep,
Yeah.
same thing with him.
Yeah.
Look at what happened. Well, as soon as he got in power, he started doing the total opposite that he said he was going to do.
He starts speaking as a dragon.
Right.
You know, he came in like a lamb, and he starts speaking as a dragon.
Yeah.
Cruel Lord. He got to be.
That's
cruel
it.
Lord.
He got to.
Yeah.
You know,
So it says, so geofencing could be misused for control, but whether it will depends on political systems, legal safeguards, and how citizens and organizations respond to surveillance technologies. The people are not going to be able to do shit about it.
Right.
You know, the ones that are in power, you see that people, you got people talking against it, but what's happening? It's still going forward.
Yep.
Mhm.
They're already in the positions of power. They're already in positions of lawmaking. You know, they already got the politicians in their back pocket. So the system is already in place.
Yeah.
You can go out there and protest and you blue in the face. You ain't gonna stop the train.
Prophecy. You ain't gonna stop prophecy.
There
That's
you
the
go.
whole time as you were saying what you were saying, that proves that GMS got it right. Because what is written in the book is coming to pass. Not your own vain thoughts, not what's in your own mind, your own belly. You know, with the words of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is written, is coming to pass.
Mhm.
And certain men have that marriage with the book and the understanding of the book. When you got these other guys, which, you know, they're saying something opposite of what's actually happening, then they're not the men of the Lord. It's just that simple, you know? You got these individuals, of course, you know, the naysayers, gainsayers, so on and so forth. They come on the comment boards saying, why you got to say this, that, and the third? Well, can't you see for your own eyes that they're wrong and they're misleading the people? All right?
They can't see.
Right.
That's the you know, that's the obvious.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's obvious. They actually can't see. They're actually caught up in this big ball of witchcraft. You know, this big ball of deception. The Lord has blinded their eyes, so they can't even see the obvious. But the thing about the prophet is the Lord, he tapped them all the way in to see. They were called seers before they were called prophets.
Right.
You know, and we were able to see into the future and to be able to understand the things that are actually happening today. Like it says in 2 Ezra 9 chapter, measure out the time diligently in itself.
Yeah.
You know, like if you would only hire a carpenter to build a home, you wouldn't hire a goddamn taxi cab driver to build your home.
You're gonna be through.
You're done. You're gonna hire a master home builder that knows all the measurements, knows how to lay the foundation, knows everything that it needs to be done, knows how to, you know, he can get the plumber and the electrician. He a general contractor.
Yeah.
You know, that's the prophet. He a general contractor.
Yeah.
He can
all
everything. What you need, what you want to talk about, he can tell you.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
That's it. All right, so you got anything?
Yeah, I had a quick
What
precept.
you got?
This is Psalms 94, 94 and 20,
All right.
because it was talking about how, you know, that can happen. The geofencing can happen with more control, but you have these human watch group organization, watchdog organizations, and you have different laws that can prevent it. You know, these things from happening. They don't care about the goddamn law.
Right.
Right.
You know, and that's why the law is written so ambiguous, because they can actually amend it and change it and interpret it. One judge can interpret a law completely different,
Right.
and they can pay that judge off.
Yeah.
Now it's written. Now it's in law. Now,
Yeah.
okay. This is
Yeah, because Myram Shabara said, "Give me control of the nation's money, not caring who writes his laws."
That's it. And this is why the people, they have the people in this rat race thinking that them getting money is going to be the end all be all to their well-being. You know, so while they're chasing after money and the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, the pride of life, the whole time there's being a electrical fence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Cutting them off
little by little, to where so subtly they don't even see it until it's too late. Boom. Now they locked your ass in. Okay. This is Psalm 94 and 20. It says, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law.
Mhm.
And he's able to implement all these things because he's actually put it into law. He said, no, this is actually legal. The digital ID is actually legal.
Right.
Me telling you that you have to take this juice is legal. It's written to, and he went so far as saying, these are emergency powers.
Right.
You know,
Executive order.
executive orders. So he can make an emergency power to strip away your rights and give him more power over you. And there's nothing that you can do because everybody under him is all compliant. He has yes men. He has sycophants that are in these positions that are paid off just to give him $1 million. He'll say it.
Oh yeah.
If you gave $1 million to an average person out there to tell whatever you want, and you put them in a position of power though.
Yeah.
You put them in a position of power in which they can actually affect and change people's lives. That's why you said, my answer Bauer, give me
control of the nation's money.
That's it.
And I care not who writes his laws.
That's it.
Because basically, if you control the money, you control every aspect of that society.
That's it.
Because the ones that rise up against you, you pay somebody to take them out.
Mm-hmm. And then in this system, right, he's going to be able to cut you off from actually using money. Yeah. So this is a different level of control. This is total control. There's no way out. The only way out is Yahweh Shema Shai. He has to come. The scriptures say if the Lord did not speed up the time, no flesh will be saved. Right. So that's why our message is not protesting. Our message is not writing our congressman. Our message is not getting a homestead. All right, we gonna get some chickens. Right. We're gonna get some goats. What
they call that, prepping.
Yeah, prepping. No, we're spiritually prepping.
Right.
Because again, you can't stop prophecy. These things were written aforetime, okay, to let us know what would go down in the last days and who we should be leaning upon.
And what should we be looking for to show us the signs of the coming of the Lord?
That's it.
And you got to read on.
Verse 21. It says they gathered
into what you were saying.
God, they gathered themselves together against the soul of the righteous and condemned the innocent blood. Mm-hmm. Yep. It says, but the Lord is my defense. See, because they're gonna try to condemn us. They're gonna say what our speech is seditious. They're gonna say that it's inciting violence. They're already setting the stage. They're gonna call us domestic terrorists. Yep. And Trump already said that.
Yeah, already saying that. Yep.
He already said Antifa. He labeled it a terrorist group. He labeled the cartels terrorist groups.
So that means people that are against those groups, they're like, yeah, but dummy, that's going to be used against you.
That's it. That was just the foot to get. That was just a step to get into the door.
That's it.
Now that they're in the door,
now they can interpret it however they want.
Exactly. That's it.
See, this is why, like Paul Warburg, right? When he was, when he took out certain amenities out of the Federal Reserve bill, the other dickhead Nelson Aldridge was mad. No, we don't want to take those. I said, look, we just want to get the bill passed. Mm-hmm. Once the bill's passed, then we can make the amendment. Then we can add the necessary provisions in there.
Mm-hmm. And when you told Salaki,
no, you got it.
Now, when you told me that story, that was crazy too, because I did that lesson about how Mexico they have the digital ID. They just made it mandatory.
Yep.
Now
the new one.
You know what I mean? Now, but the thing is, when you go into the article, some years back they made it what's the word where you can optional. They put it in, the bill passed, but it was optional.
Right. You could if you wanted
to do it. It wasn't mandatory. So they let the bill pass through years back.
Right.
But now, since the bill's passed, they amended it and it passed.
Boom.
So just what you were just saying, like, yeah, now just get it in there first.
That's it.
Let's get it in there, and then we can start amending. We can start changing things.
Right.
And that's how they're going to do you American people. They're like, oh no, it's already here. We already passed this part of the bill, and then we just amended and added things to it because of the things that are actually happening.
There you go. We'll finish that up.
Con, it says, and he shall bring upon them their own.
Read the last part.
Okay, Con, 22. Yep. But the Lord is my defense, and my power is the rock of my refuge.
Right.
And he shall bring upon them their own iniquity, and shall cut them off in their own wickedness.
There you go.
Yea, the Lord our power shall cut them off.
Right. That's why it says in the fullness of his efficiency, the Lord shall pretty much.
He put them in straits.
Yeah, put them in straits. So now I got a couple of precepts. This is Ezekiel 12 and 21. It says, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, what is that proverb that you have in the land of Israel, saying, the days are prolonged and every vision faileth. Right, because Jake don't believe that these things are coming. even the ones that are supposed to know better,
Right.
that are teaching, right, that go all the way back to 1 West, that the main thing in 1 West was prophecy, they're even, faltering, saying, oh, these things ain't going to happen. General Myanmar, or wherever the hell his name is, said, when you in prison, when the dude is in prison, he ain't looking for the day of his release. He's just dealing with it. No, he's not.
What?
Yeah, he said that shit. When I heard that, I said, these are fucking low-level thinking individuals that would even go to that school.
Right.
And it's a shame because you got men in there that are high-level intelligent men.
Yeah.
But yet, still in all,
Yep.
you got these low-hanging fruit.
Right.
That their IQ together is probably like 2 or 3.
Damn.
Crazy.
For you to say some stupid shit like that, that means that your brain either is not functioning or you are a master deceiver.
God. Yeah. Spirit ain't working with them.
Right. It says, tell them therefore, thus saith Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, I will make this proverb to cease, and they shall no more use it as a proverb in Israel. But say unto them, the days are at hand.
That's it.
Right.
And the effect of every vision, because at the end it's going to speak.
Right.
And it's going to be effective, because the words of the Lord don't go out void.
Right.
They're going to accomplish the mission that the Lord sent those words to accomplish. And that's why we see the world in the fashion that it's in,
Right.
because all of these prophecies that the Lord spoke about are all happening right now, because it's these signs and the prophets beyond out there teaching are ushering in Yahweh's coming.
That's it.
So it says, for there shall be no more any vain vision nor flattering divination within the house of Israel. For I am Yahweh, I will speak, and the word that I shall speak shall come to pass. It shall be no more prolonged. For in your days, O rebellious house, will I say the word and will perform it, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And that's what Yahushai said, this generation shall not pass, so all these things be fulfilled.
Yep.
Again, the word of the Lord came up to me, saying, Son of man, behold, they of the house of Israel say, the vision that he seeth is for many days to come, and he prolongeth, and he prophesies at the times that are far off, right? And you still have these individuals, we could be here another 1,000 years, another 30 years, another 50 years. So you're pretty much pushing off the prophecies in the distance,
Right.
because you're comfortable in your situation.
Yep.
Because for you, if you love your life, if you are in a comfortable position, you don't mind dealing with this hell.
Right.
But when you're not in a comfortable position and you're hastening the day, you're not looking for the long haul.
You ain't going through the straight gate.
You're hastening the day.
Yeah.
And yeah, you ain't going through the straight gate, because if you was going through the straight gate, you'd be wanting this place to be finished.
Yeah. Yesterday.
Like yeah. I was about to say yesterday.
So it says, therefore say unto them, thus saith the Lord power, there shall none of my words be prolonged anymore, but the word which I have spoken shall be done, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Because at the end of the day, this is the Lord's program, not yours. And that's why Yahushai said, my fear, your fear towards the Lord is taught by the precept of men.
Yeah.
You're not moved with fear by the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You're moved with fear by the things that other men say.
Yeah.
And you would not dare speak against him if you see that what he's saying ain't matching up with what the scripture's saying.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't dare say anything because you're afraid to be put out of that congregation or ridiculed,
Right.
or put on a spit for everybody to take shots at.
Right. Spirit ain't working with you, dude. If the spirit working with you, you're gonna speak up.
Yeah.
I got one more.
He that make mention of the Lord, keep not silence.
There we go.
Amos 6:1. Woe to them that are at ease in Zion, Amos 6:1, and trust in the mountains of Samaria, which are named chief of the nations, to whom the house of Israel came. I'm just going to jump to the third. Ye that put far away the evil day and cause the seed of violence to come near, because these devils are setting up their trap for the future.
Right.
So if you're not hastening the day, that means that you're helping set up that table for that truth.
Yeah. The inward thoughts that the house shall continue forever. How can you bring that scripture out and then be comfortable in America? Have that comforting mind frame in America, calling yourself an Israelite, and you understand that this man's objective is to prolong his enterprise.
Yeah.
So you will do anything to, because that's what we're doing when we bring out the word of the Lord, is what, to cast down the strongholds, you know, to tear Babylon down. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
that's what we're doing. We're chanting like the walls of Jericho.
Yeah.
You know, the
Mhm.
men, they encamped around Jericho, right? They walked around Jericho, blowing the trumpet to tear Jericho down,
That's it.
to tear the walls of Jericho down. You know, but if you, you got Israelites basically knocking at the door of Jericho. Can I get in?
Yeah.
Can I hang out with you guys?
Mhm.
what you cooking over there? You know, like getting involved with Jericho, trying to help
Yeah.
sustain Jericho,
Having a party. in
having a
Jericho.
party in Jericho.
Well, that's
You
why
know?
you're gonna go down with Jericho and
That's
Babylon
right.
and you know everything else.
Mhm.
It says that lie upon beds of ivory and stretch themselves upon their couches and eat the lambs out of the flock. And some of them guys are, you know, big as hell, so you know they eat good.
Yeah.
And the calves out of the midst of the stall that chant to the sound of the viol, right? And invented themselves instruments of music like David, having a good old merry time, right? That drink wine in bowls and anoint themselves with the chief ointments. You know, you living it up.
You drink wine in bowls.
Yeah.
Man.
But they are not grieved for the affliction of Joseph. You ain't grieved for the Latin tribes
Right.
catching hell,
Right.
being run down by ice.
Con.
You know, you pretty much you content in your situation.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Con. That's a cut on you individuals out there, because that makes sense.
Yeah,
It makes sense in the book of Amos that would be said, because you had those haters of the northern tribe, you know,
Con.
but not understanding that, look, that's a part of Jacob's trouble.
Yeah.
What we're seeing, the affliction of Joseph, the northern tribe, is the beginnings of Jacob's trouble.
Mhm.
So where them dudes at now? That talk about how the Tainos, the Arawaks, the indigenous people of this side of the world, who are they say that they're not Israelites, but you see the persecution is happening to who? Those particular people,
Mhm.
and then it's creeping over to the southern tribe.
Well, just like the Syrians came after the northern kingdom first.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you had the southern kingdom, they just sat back and watched.
Yeah.
And, but ultimately, years later, the Babylonians came upon the southern kingdom.
Yeah, that sister Judah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's the same thing. Everything is happening in increments.
Yep.
It's all leading up to get you niggas, man. And that's how you know.
Yeah.
It's a full-fledged, because really the land tribe, they in trouble right now.
Yeah.
We're in a form of Jacob trouble.
Right.
Right now. They literally casting people out of their homes. They're taking away their goods.
Yeah.
They're throwing them in detention centers. Just like what the scriptures just said, you know.
Like the Apostle Ramab said, today Esau represents the modern day Assyrian.
Yep.
You know, which what were they? They were cruel.
Mm-hmm.
The Assyrians were known for their cruelty, you know, and then that's what's being shown to the northern tribe right now. Cruelty,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's all to gear in what? That MOTB. All right, to basically make digital chains on people, you know. So look, we in that time. And you individuals, you know, who are out there, your naysayers, gainsayers, and so on and so forth, you know, in regards to the northern tribe. What can you say now? Because the prophecy, it's all about prophecy. Prophecies are speaking.
Mm-hmm.
It's speaking to who the children of Israel are. Okay, so yeah, there you go. You know,
I got a quick preset.
Con.
This is 2nd Ezra 15 and 14.
Spirit.
Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Now, what's it called? The mayor of Chicago, I believe it's the mayor of Chicago. He got up there at the No Kings rally, and basically was like really inciting a civil war.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, like these Democratic mayors are really inciting civil war, talking about, you know, they think that we're gonna back down and we're gonna just take what they're gonna, you know, like, bro, yeah, like it's like fighting words, like basically gearing the people up to go against, you know, the other side of America,
right?
The side of America that you can't reason with,
right?
You know, the other side of America that's the problem of the earth, you know, and likewise the right and the left. Okay, but the scriptures say one people shall stand up and fight against another with sword. The sword is the modern day gun. The kill is a killing instrument, if you
Yes,
will.
sir.
Okay, it says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." Okay,
Yeah, yeah. Of course, these people are going to look to take it to the streets, and it's controlled demolition, if you will. What they say, order ad KO, to where Esau is doing these particular things, right, to incite the people to start the fire. You start a fire, get twigs, and you start with little things first.
Yeah, the kindling.
Yeah, the kindling, right, and then you get a spark.
That's it.
And then eventually that flame holds to where it can carry itself.
Yep, yeah.
And that's what Esau's doing with these policies, his agenda, and everything that we're seeing manifest before us, so that he can cause his enterprise to succeed, to prosper, But then that's why again prophecy is supreme, because we understand when he goes to fill his belly, that's when the Most High is going to put him in straits. That's when it's going to get worse for him. Yeah. Why? Because of the word of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Same thing. I looked it up the other day, which, by the way, before AI, Apostle Tahar, I'll never forget, he brought out, he said he believed that Claudius was kicking out Israel out of Rome because of the rise of the word of the Lord.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was.
No, yeah.
And I looked it up with AI the other day, and that's what it said.
Yeah, that's what it says. Yep.
Yeah, that's what it says. And that's what's going on now.
Yeah, they say so-called Christian, extreme Christian evangelism. That's how they interpret it.
Right.
Because it was basically camps popping up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Same thing you see in Wrestling.
That's
Same thing going on right now, man.
It.
You got camps all throughout the four winds of the earth popping up. And see, now it's worse now for Esau, because back then it was in Rome. You had Asia Minor. You had pockets. Right. Now it's everywhere. You got camps. You got different camps, like 3-4 camps within a 2-3 block radius now.
Yep.
So he's pulling his fucking hairs out his head.
And and why it was so dangerous, because Yahweh Shai was being spoken about,
right?
But basically, it was the collapse of their system. So it was sedition, essentially.
Yeah.
He was basically saying another king is coming to take you down, and you can't have that.
Yeah.
You can't have that spreading amongst the citizens, because that's a threat.
Yeah.
That diminishes your power over them. Your mind control over your government. Your government is in question. And this is what Esau Edom does when he overthrows these different governments. He basically he questions their legitimacy, and he makes the people like, maybe they shouldn't be in power.
Right?
Why are they living so good? Why am I living so bad? So you start to question the legitimacy of the power, then that sparks up that uprising. So Esau can't have that. So this is why he's going to deem this, seditious. He's going to deem this so-called terrorist. Yep.
Yeah, because that's the only method he has of control. He has to, denigrate or has to demonize someone before they come against him.
Right.
That's why back in the days you had them different groups that were coming against the government because they didn't agree with them, and they would send the FBI and different, groups in there to take them out. Because they couldn't control them. Ruby Ridge, and all them different other events that took place back then, where they actually, David Koresh.
Yep.
When they came in there and they demolished that and killed them, they took them out.
Yeah.
So they pretty much setting the scene for them to be able to demonize everyone that is not with their New World Order,
right?
So that they can, put it down.
And that's what makes the prophets the main target, because the instrument to tie everything together, we're speaking up against,
right?
And that's why these other camps, they don't speak up against it,
right? Because they paid off,
right?
It's the only way. There's no way. Look, you could understand 20 years ago, 15 years ago, that they didn't really see what was going on. There's no way that you can't see that the MOTB is a micro CHIP.
Right.
Because if you didn't right now, you wouldn't be saying they might throw a micro CHIP in there. Or we're not discounting that the micro CHIP is not a part of the MOTB, but that's not it.
Right.
You wouldn't be trying to spin you know, the narrative to make it seem like you were always talking about these talking points,
Mhm.
but you weren't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's so much evidence out there that even Bishop Nathaniel had to get into the digital system
Right.
and talk about the digital system,
That's-
and they might throw a
That's
microchip
how.
in
That's
there.
how it's getting
Yeah.
too bad. It's getting bad.
Yeah, because he made a fool of himself when he said, you know, can somebody tell me what RFID has to do with buying and selling?
Yep. Yep.
And there was receipt after receipt after receipt after receipt after receipt. The sister said that her dog has an RFID micro
Maybe
CA.
she could buy you some land.
Right. But now it's like, oh, you got to eat them words.
Yeah.
Just like he had to eat his
that.
words on the Cornelius
Cornelius.
being an Edomite.
Yep. Yep.
Well, just like you brought out the scripture in Ezekiel the 12, you know, there shall be no more flattering divination.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Beautiful, yep.
And we're
Yeah.
in that time. You can't. There's no more flattering divination. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't manipulate no more because it's
That's-
here.
That is the trail of the false prophets.
Yeah.
Of flattery.
Yep. And then the Lord said that the night is going to be to them where they're not going to be able to divine anymore. So the Lord's going to strip that, you know, that slick tongue,
Right.
that oil can Harry tongue that you have to be able to, you know, and all of you false prophets out there, that slick tongue that you have to be able to manipulate your followers,
Mhm.
that's going to be stripped away once, you know, the truth is fully sprung up, which it is, you know. And people say, no, I don't know. You guys been speaking against the RFID micro C being the MOTB, but everything is pointing to it. What's going on? And you ain't gonna have no answers. Lord's gonna take that spirit, you know, that lying, that lying spirit off of you.
Yeah. Well, they might just give up like Alazazel.
Oh,
You
Lord.
know, he just said, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not part. I don't want to be associated with the Hebrew Israelites no more. Ain't that some shit?
Hey,
You was this great guy. You got the Hebrew
No,
award.
super,
You know?
super Israelite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super duper high priest, grand
He
priest
did-
of the.
He
you
did
know,
get an award too, huh?
You know, he got an award from that demon. You know, saw nigga, and he was the top Israelite. All the Israelites got to come under him. You know, all the men before him, they got to submit to him. They got to retire. He gonna take it over.
Yeah.
This say that did happen. This nigga gave up.
Yeah.
So where do we go? What we just
What's
become niggas now?
Hey, well, that was Theudas. He said, you know, that he was scattered, and all that were with him scattered with
Yeah.
him.
Yep.
Those were zealots.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Verse
If
18.
this counsel be a man, it will come to naught. You got it.
Verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city.
You got 15.
Yeah, the second is 15,
You
17.
got it.
A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able.
Right.
And they're going to be able to do this through that geofencing.
There you go.
You know what I mean? It's all tying back to everything being uploaded online to where now they can actually block your access to these things. That's why they want your cars to be, basically the new electric cars are basically computers on wheels.
That's it.
It's just a computer system. And now that it's on a computer system, they can tap into it. They can stop it. They can drive it back to the dealership.
Yeah.
And then they'll even give the police power, like in those movies. What was the movies? It's a lot of them digital movies where the police actually have power over the different cars. You know, like with was it Tom Cruise? What's that movie? Tom Cruise?
MRB.
No,
no,
Mission
no.
Impossible.
no, not Tom. No.
You talking about with the new?
Oh no.
Total
He talking
Recall?
about speed.
No. I'm
Oh.
talking about with the precogs.
I don't know.
Oh, that was a Minority.
Minority Report. He had to, when he got into the car, he had to do something to where he had to make it manual
Yep.
to where they can't take over the car. And he was able to drive then because they have access to just turn your shit off. You know what I mean? Drive it back to the dealership, lock the doors. You know what I mean?
That's it.
And stop you from going. You might be in your 15-minute city, be able to drive around your 15-minute city. But if you go outside that boundary, your shit gonna turn off.
Total control.
You see what I'm saying? You're gonna get them warning signs, beep, beep, beep. You have left the boundary. You have left the boundary. However it is,
Right,
warning,
right.
warning. Your car will stop unless you turn around in 60 seconds.
Right.
That's total control, bro.
Yeah.
And you don't. And then they ban gas cars. So
yeah, right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, they got certain zones like that.
So you can't even go to no other option. So a man shall desire to go into a city and not be able. You won't be able to get out of your 15-minute city because you won't able to have access to these other cities all right, everything's going to be pinging.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so they're going to know where you're at all moments. Okay.
Yeah.
For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid.
Men shall be afraid. Yeah. Yeah. Scripture says it's going to be a time like no other. You know, and there's nothing you can do. There's no gearing up. There's nothing. You can't save yourself. You know, you're going to need the Savior. You're going to need the Holy Spirit. You're going to need the Comforter, the God of all comfort, in order for you to navigate and to survive. All right, because salvation is on the way, and that the point of salvation is to live.
That's it.
You know, Yahweh Shai promised eternal life. You know, so there is a way to escape.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's not just all doom and gloom. That's what the point of the gospel is.
That's it.
You know, and that's the point of bringing out prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the joy of prophecy,
Yeah.
to talk about the winnings.
Yeah.
Because if you just sit here, you want to just enjoy the comforts, you fucking lose every day. You continue just to lose, and yet you faking it till you making it, so to speak.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, and if somebody's winning, somebody's losing.
exactly.
That's it.
And the roles is about to be reversed.
It's always a duality to
Right.
everything.
Right,
You know,
right.
Esau sees his grip slipping, and this is why Pete Heck said, talking about they're gonna bring war to bring peace,
Right.
because they see the status of America. They're losing that empire status, and the fear that the nations once had for America is waning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's what establishes one nation over another is the fear
Yeah,
that they can actually put you to death and take everything from you.
Yeah.
and that's why one nation would be tributary to another, because of fear of what that nation would
Would
do
do.
to them
Yeah.
if they didn't,
Yeah.
pay their tribute.
Yeah. No one exemplified that more than the Romans.
There you go.
You know,
Well, they were made of iron.
your iron. Yup.
That's it.
Yeah, and that's where we're in right now. We're in that modern day Roman Empire, the beast system, so you can
That's it.
understand. All right, that's what the beast is, the mark of the beast.
That's
The
it.
beast will implement the mark, starting with the European Union, all right, NATO, that the power structure of the earth, and then
Yeah.
America will follow.
That's it.
You know,
Because America is the spearhead.
right.
All of those other ones are nothing more than just the rest of the muscle.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. The three unclean frogs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then you got the Vatican. You got city-state of London, and you have the Pentagon.
Yep, the Pentagon. Yep.
Those are
Mhm.
like the five. No, the five. Those are the three major powers that are being used to push this whole system
Yeah.
worldwide.
Yeah.
And the majority of people are going to be deceived into receiving that MOTB.
Come on, man. You
Mhm.
can't. One West got the truth, man.
Yeah.
All right. Plain and simple, man.
To this day, to this day,
To this day, man.
there's no top scholar out there that went to any top school and learned all of this information going into the Hebrew, into the Greek,
Right.
and all these different, digs that they've gone, done around the world, archaeological digs. All of that information that they have, they still haven't found how to break down the book of Revelation.
Right. And to pinpoint the power structure of the earth, because that's what the revelation does.
Come on, man.
That's what when the prophets on the scene, they called out the power structure that was at the time.
Yeah.
So with you holding the Bible, you call yourself walking in the spirit, and walking, sitting in that office. You know, the job description of someone that holds the book, if you will, is to call out the power structure.
I got a precept for you. Jeremiah 28:8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence.
Right. And the war that's coming is a global front. Right. The pestilence, everything is global now. Back then, they had the prophets in a particular city and under a certain empire that was, it had a general location.
Mhm.
The power structure right now that the prophets are calling out is global, which proves that it's Esau, because that is the prophecy of who Esau is. He will have what? The fatness of the earth. He will be in control of the earth. Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So the prophets now are calling out the whole earth.
That's it.
Yeah, this is the last rulership, man.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
The last rulership. So it only makes sense that the Lord, he'll
Allow them to rule globally.
That's it.
Was that in there?
Yeah, that was pretty much it on that.
Y'all got anything else? So with that, we pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. Till the next time we say
Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.